let's continue on. Let's jump back into some of these suggestions, okay? All right, let's jump in, right? Reduce asking for support. These segments put you in a bad light and are the exact kind of clips the trolls want. It really comes off as desperate. Regulars already know how to support, and if newcomers don't know, they'll ask. People are smarter than you give them credit for. They'll figure out how to support. If anything, you should add a support command to your chat. When someone asks you, you can simply say, type the support command and you'll know how to support me. It doesn't turn into a long, drawn-out 10 to 30-minute segment about how giving you money that is going to be clipped out of context. It makes you look bad. We don't want another scorn debacle on our hands. Well, first of all, the scorn debacle is a whole separate thing. We all know what happened with the scorn debacle 2 years ago, where I was playing a game that really started good and became a piece of dog shit. And I was suffering with it, but people were like demanding that I keep playing it because it's such a short game. And then we had an awful night where basically I was feeling awful because the game really pissed me off. And then I looked and literally I made like nothing that night. And I'm like, dude, I just killed myself playing this shitty ass game and essentially, you know, made nothing for it. Imagine if you went to work one day and you busted your ass at work and you were just exhausted with that day of work. And then your boss walked up to you and said, oh, by the way, I'm not paying you for today. Right? So what happened is I exploded on the audience, which I shouldn't have done. But I mean, that's 2 years ago. We've talked about that. I don't do that anymore because that's awful, right? Or at least I try not to do stuff like that anymore because we know how awful that was. But in general, I don't like asking for support at all. If I had to never, ever talk about support, I never would. Really. Like, I wouldn't even bother. Do you think I like saying, oh, by the way, please, you know, support the stream with this, and this? No, I don't like doing that. That's the opposite of what a streamer wants to do. A streamer wants to stream fun content. It's not fun to have to bring up ways to contribute and to say, by the way, guys, today is a slow stream. But the bottom line is that's my livelihood. All right. Unlike most other content creators out there who have opportunities outside of just their live streams to make funds, I don't. I cannot get sponsorship opportunities. I cannot get partnership opportunities for multiple reasons, mostly because everyone on the internet has dumped on me for 10 years, unfairly slandering, defaming me, and treating me like the internet whipping boy. No company is going to want me to be a spokesperson for their product, because if I ever did, my trolls would immediately go to their website, to their socials, and bombard them with fucking nasty shit, which would immediately make them say, why the hell did we do this? The whole point is to make our product look good and have more people buy it or experience it. And instead, all we have is a bunch of trolls harassing us online. So what happened here? I don't get that. So because I don't have those supplementary levels of income, I don't have any other income sources outside of these streams and the revenue I make on YouTube behind the scenes, right? That's it. Okay, the one other thing is Patreon, right? Which is very small. It's maybe $200 to $300 a month I'll make on Patreon, if that, okay? So that's a very different situation. In fact, I would say I'm in one of the most unique situations there are, because most people who are of the stature that I am, meaning not very big, I'm a very small-time guy when it comes to my streams, when it comes to the content I put out. I still have a ton of support because I've been around for over 15 years, because there's people who absolutely love the content I put out, despite the fact that so many people crap on me. They like me and want to see me persevere and continue through. So I have way more support than most people of my stature on the internet, right? Another person who gets like 300 viewers on a stream and a few hundred views on a video isn't likely to make a living doing it. I can, because I'm lucky, because I've been around so long and I've persevered through so much adversity, that there's people who actually appreciate and understand that. They like my content for being such a long time person doing it. And that's why. I mean, I'm just different. I'm a different animal than most other people who do this for a living. They all have to follow the algorithm. They all have to push and shill and do all that stuff. And I don't do that. But because I don't do all that other shit that they do, because essentially I don't have opportunity to do it, I have to focus on basically making a living on streams. So it very, very much stands to reason that on a day when I'm streaming and I have a slow day where I make almost nothing on my streams, that's a day when it's a bust for me. Like, I didn't make any money to pay my bills, to support my family, to do the things I need to do to make a living and keep this business running. That's a scary thought to think about that. You mean like one day could make or break you? Yeah, I'm not far ahead enough where I can just say, oh, I could have a whole slow week and everything's good. I can't. If I had a slow week, I can't pay bills, and that sucks. I don't like living like that, but that's the situation that life has tossed me into. And we could sit here and argue all day about what's a better thing, to have a 9 to 5 job with a salary, or to be a YouTuber who's like my stature and fluctuating income and it's not stay. That's neither here nor there. And truth be told, with all the hardships that I go through here financially, it's still better than any other job I've ever had. Every other job that I've had, it's this semblance of safety and stability that doesn't exist. In corporate America specifically, you can be cut at any moment for any reason, and there's nothing you can do about it. I've experienced it firsthand. I'm being complimented one day for going above and beyond. I'm receiving awards for the amount of work that I did, and then 2 months later, I'm laid off, So it doesn't matter what you're doing. There's never stability. And with YouTube, at least I've been doing this now since 2011. And again, through your support, it's allowed me to say, hey, the best job I've ever had. I have control of my destiny, right? As opposed to having to answer to some boss that at any moment could shift around and kick me out. That's never going to happen if I'm an independent internet content creator. Yeah, the venue might change. Yeah, the format might change, but I'm still able to have an opportunity to make content for an audience that wants that content. They want it. They want to watch it. They want to digest it, and they want to support it. So that's awesome to know. But a symptom of that is asking for support, especially particularly on a day when it's not forthcoming. For every day where people are ultra supportive, there's probably going to be a day where things are very slow. And the thing is, do they tend to even out? Yeah, but some days nothing's happening. And if I say, hey, guys, just a reminder, please support the stream. You can do a super chat. You can do a membership, a gifted membership, or a tip. Yeah, you might not like being advertised to. I don't either. I hate being advertised to. Annoying ads make me not want to buy the product. When I'm on watching TV and it's like a most obnoxious fucking ad possible, it's like, there's no chance in hell I'm ever buying this product. I don't know how they thought that ad was going to get me to sway me to buy their shit. They're a bunch of idiots, right? I think these marketing people today are really dumb. But it is a necessary evil of what kind of, living I make, what kind of content I make. And the truth is, there are people who come by every day who are curious about the content, who don't know what it is. They've heard a bunch of negative things about me, and they're here curious to hear about it for themselves. And, they don't know how to contribute. And so if I just casually mention it every once in a while, then maybe they will. Or maybe there's people who are watching and don't realize, oh man, Phil's having a slow day. Oh, well, now that I know that, I'll chip in. And then they do. Now I'll be honest. Yes, I think that it's obnoxious if I keep mentioning it over and over. Or if I have a day where I'm really frustrated, probably because I'm either exhausted or stressed out about stuff, and then I come on this stream and I say things like, oh, what a slow day, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's obnoxious. I agree with you. That's something that I've tried to get better at over the years. The difference here is this. I don't do it constantly. It doesn't matter what people say. I actually don't do it constantly, and I know for a fact because I've actually been tracking myself. I have. I've actually started tracking how often do I actually ask for support and how bad is it and things like that. And I can tell you this, today is way less than what it used to be. Basically, this all started around that time because you brought up Scorn. It started around that time of that playthrough when I kind of had a reality check, when I had YouTubers who were watching that clip and calling me out and saying, wow, Phil's a scumbag. And I was like, you know what? They're right. I completely agree with them. When I watch back myself during that stream, I cringe and say, that was awful. Why did I do that? It's emotions. It's being afraid. Because again, a day when I have a bad streaming day literally could mean that within a week or two, I have a day where I'm worried, how am I going to pay all my bills because things went badly, But that's something that I have to get better at as a human, and I make mistakes. And I realize there are times when things are going bad. For example, when the whole debacle happened 2 months ago with all the fake memberships, and all of a sudden the channel is exploding with memberships and everyone thinks everything's going great. It's literally the opposite. Like, I'm getting thousands of these memberships and getting paid like $1 per 1,000. So normally I would be making all this income and I'm actually losing tons of income, and it hasn't come back. This is just a matter of fact right now, is that this channel is way down on revenue because those memberships screwed everything up. They threw a big monkey wrench into the way that stuff works. And now so many people got the free memberships. No one paid for one for like 2 months. That is starting to come back now, and I'm grateful for that. That those of you who are coming back and becoming members legit and gifting legit memberships, thank you for that. But it's taking a couple months now to kind of bounce back from it, and that's awful because now I'm affected by it, And so I tell you that because people wonder, gee, how are you doing with memberships? And, blah, blah. So I answered, and it's like, oh, so you're asking for support? What? No, I'm just telling you what happened because people noticed there was an insane amount of gifted memberships being given out every day on this stream. People had questions. I'm giving you answers, but somehow that just becomes the next, oh, you're begging for support kind of a deal. You know what I'm saying? So it drives me nuts because it's like, once again, it's another situation. It doesn't matter what I do, it's still wrong. Correct? So if I never mention support ever and I literally go out of business because people don't support because I don't say anything about it, well, obviously I did something wrong there because I was dumb. I went out of business. If I mention it too much, well, now it's obnoxious. I'm a beggar. It's like, so where's the happy medium? And that's what we got to find. Where in the middle is it acceptable? And I agree. The scorn situation is the polar opposite of who I want to be on the internet. I don't want to sit here and become Mr. Shill, Mr. Ask, Mr. Beg. I just want to have fun with you guys. Chill, hang out, enjoy games, and then, hey, the support will come. And that's always been my philosophy. If I'm enjoying what I'm doing on a stream and you're enjoying what I'm doing on the stream and the content is that kind of reciprocal relationship of we're all enjoying each other's company, then the support will just naturally come. And in general, it does. It's just those times when it doesn't that maybe you need a little nudge in the right direction and say, hey, remember you can support because if I have a bad day, this is going to set me back. And a lot of people just don't like that. The real problem here, let's be actually transparent and honest now, is that everyone out there just misrepresents me. Like you just said in your suggestion, and by the way, thank you for this. This is actually a really good suggestion box topic. I'm glad we talked about it today. And thank you for tackling it with a nice, rational mindset because a lot of other people would have come at this in a very negative way and you didn't. So thank you so much. His name is Goki, I think. Thank you for this. This is a good one. The way I see it is because so many assholes out there always misrepresent me, people have, sadly, a very unfair notion of the fact that they think that all I do is sit here all day talking about income. Did I literally mention it once on today's stream until I started reading the suggestion box? Nope. Would I have mentioned it? Maybe. I probably would have mentioned it when we started with the React show because during the React show, that's how that channel makes profit is just memberships. That's it. There's no ad revenue to be had on the React channel because everything gets claimed, but the memberships are the reason why that channel is profitable for me. So yeah, during that show, I'll say, hey, just so you know, become a member today. You can suggest clips for next week's show. Maybe if you support the streams today with a super chat or a tip, that would be great because that's how I make my living on this channel. That's what makes it profitable, right? And I'll do it a few times during the show, but I try not to make it so intrusive. Once we're reacting to stuff, I don't try to interact or interrupt my reactions with that shilling and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I think what it is I'm misrepresenting. People will take the few times in a giant stream, I turn on the stream 10:45 a.m. I start talking around 11:15. That talk segment, which is the level 1 podcast, goes on to like 12:45. And then we have 3+ hours of gameplay or 3+ hours of reacting or whatever it is I do. They'll take 5-6 hours of a stream and they'll take the 3 to 4 times that maybe I plugged and they'll say, here's Phil's stream. And they'll just edit together. They'll act like that was the whole stream. Like, what? This is the same thing they used to do with This Is How You Don't Play. Take the awful clips out of the playthrough. That's like a 20-hour playthrough, but make a 1-hour montage of the times when I failed. Oh, that was Phil's playthrough. Well, it wasn't. That was 1/20th of the playthrough. You've ignored 90% of the playthrough to push a narrative. And that's how people represent me on the internet. And it makes me look far worse than what reality really is. Are there times when, yes, absolutely, I go too far with it? Yes, absolutely there are. And you guys absolutely have the right to call me out on that and say, stop. You're being overbearing. You're being annoying. We get it. We want to support you. We will if we can. Stop fucking asking. And that's fine if you do that. I appreciate those who are honest with me about that kind of stuff. But the truth is, when someone says something to me here, let's just listen to this. It doesn't turn into this long, drawn-out 10 to 30-minute segment about how giving you money. What are you talking about? No, really, what are you talking about? A 10 to 30-minute segment about giving me money. You really think that happens? You actually think that I will stop my content? Like, I'll stop playing a game. Oh, man, this is a great game, but by the way, guys, we have to stop playing for 30 minutes to talk about income. What? It's never happened. Like, literally, in my entire streaming history, that's never happened. Even that scorn moment you're talking about, that didn't happen. Right? So, that's what drives me nuts. You literally have cited an example that doesn't happen, but you probably do think it happens. Why? Because you watch the fucking Detractor content. All right? Here's the honest response that I will give to anyone who has a suggestion that's like, man, there's this one thing about you that I really don't like. I like that you beg too much, right? Stop watching detractor content. Because if you were actually here watching the real content, you would understand that what they say is false. It is a false narrative to push an agenda where they will get clickbait and views. It has nothing to do with reality. Most people who are on my streams on a daily basis never complain that I'm asking too much for anything. It's just not reality. It's not in any realm of matter of fact stuff. But that's the thing. You watch it out of context. You watch it on a channel that only highlights that toxic shit. And that's what you're going to see. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, that's the thing. Like, what I'm saying now, right? They absolutely, positively will not ever take what I'm saying right now verbatim. Because it's true. Instead, they'll take a few clips about my response to this. Phil butthurt about people saying he's an e-beggar. And then they'll take 3 clips and here it is. I'm butthurt about it. That's what I mean. That's what they do. I don't know how you can't figure that out yet. I mean, that's their shtick for the last 10 years. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate the feedback. I agree with you. I don't want to be someone who's just about income. I think that's terrible, okay? I try not to harp on it. Every once in a while, if there's a reason to bring it up. Like, yes, when the fake gifted memberships were happening, I needed to let you know because thousands were coming out and people were like, what the hell's going on to the channel? You know, I had to explain it. I had to explain why there's no more pop-ups for it, why I'm not doing shout-outs for the fake ones, why I'm trying to ban these people as it happens so it doesn't affect the streams in a big negative way. I mean, people were even saying, this sucks, we can't even chat. When they give these fake memberships, the whole chat's flooded for like 10 minutes. This is terrible, right? So, that being said, I understand what you're saying, but please get the fact that what you're saying, 10 to 30-minute segments about income don't happen unless I get a question like this and we're just addressing the suggestion box. That's it. We don't have giant segments where, well, I'm just going to stop making content today until people contribute. Here, I'm going to turn the webcam off until someone sends me a nice, fresh 20. All right? When the 20 bucks rolls in, I'll turn the camera back on and we'll continue making content. I don't do that. I swear you people act like I do sometimes. I don't do anything like that. You know? I'm about making the content and enjoying it with you. I don't have this fucking demands. Like, I have my content on ransom, right? You better listen. If you don't contribute in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to punch through this piece of artwork. I'm going to smash this on my knee, and the whole setup will be fucked up forever because you didn't contribute. Do I do that stuff? I don't, you know. Anyway, it's a misconception. It is. It's a misconception. Don't watch detractor content. I mean, literally, most of this the responses I can say to people in these, just don't watch detractor content. Just be here for the streams and ignore the white noise, and you'll like it. If you would just watch my stuff, you'd like it. But you don't. You watch the detractor content as a supplement, and then you come here and complain when it doesn't happen. You know, that stuff's not happening. Okay. Oh, my stupid nose is bothering me now because now this room is incredibly stuffy because of the heat, and it kills my sinuses. Okay. Shorten the podcast. Your past few recent podcasts are nothing but scheduled talk about support and Q&A. Here we go again. There is no 30-minute segment about support. You're wrong. Stop saying that. If you don't have any topics for the podcast, why try to artificially extend it? Get right to gameplay. You complain games are too long and you don't have any time to play them. I think shortening the podcast will help alleviate this issue. Never said I don't have time to play them. I have said that they're too long. I never said I don't have time to play games. I don't know what you're talking about there. I know you'll say, we'll just come back to when the podcast, we'll come back when the podcast is over. Ask yourself, why should someone do that? Because there's a podcast scheduled for the morning, and if you don't want to watch the podcast, you come to the stream after it's over. That's like saying, man, I really want to watch the nightly news that starts at 9 p.m., but god damn it, there's an hour of sitcoms that happen from 8 to 9. Why can't they just cancel all the sitcoms and start the news at 8? Because that's the fucking broadcast schedule, stupid. You come to when you want to see something live, you attend when it starts. My gameplay starts traditionally around 12:45 p.m. Pacific time. You know there's 3 hours of gameplay around 1 p.m.-ish. Why would you come for the scheduled podcast at 11:15 and complain that there's a podcast? Don't attend the podcast. Like, oh my God. Yikes. Like, what is going on with people? There you go. Dentronic says, like ordering breakfast after the kitchen moved on to lunch. No, it's the opposite of that. You show up at breakfast and you're yelling at the kitchen, why aren't you putting out dinner? It's breakfast, stupid. You're early. You can come back when dinner is served. Don't demand that the business completely change the way it operates because you can't adhere to a schedule. Like, what are you talking about? Good Lord. All right. Engage with chat more. You don't really talk with chat during gameplay unless it's to moderate, tell chat to stop going off topic, or to read a super chat. You say it's a chill environment, but you yell at people when they don't talk about your gameplay. Maybe if you chat with people who go off topic, it can lead to interesting and meaningful conversations. Before I continue with that, I do try to engage with my chat. The problem is what you're addressing. Again, you can tell this person just watches Detractor content and doesn't watch my content. Because the detractors will highlight the moments when I get upset if someone derailed the chat and say, oh, see, this is all filled in on a stream today. When in reality, that was 1/40th of what happened on the stream. It was one moment. No, what I find is if I'm playing a game and the chat disengages from it, right? Like this has happened with a couple Final Fantasy streams. I'm doing the open world content and then people just start talking about other topics, right? I don't care if you talk about other topics, but understand if you're talking about shit that I don't know about, why are you doing that in my chat when you know the streamer is not interested? Like, let's talk about sports and baseball. I don't fucking know anything about sports and baseball, so why are you talking about it in my chat? This has not ever been a sports discussion stream, so why are you derailing the chat with that? You know that's not a topic I'm interested in. There's probably 7,000 other streams going on right now of someone who loved to talk about sports. This is not one of them, so why are you derailing the chat? You see? Those are the things that go crazy. If you're talking about something I understand or whatever, or you want to ask my opinion and you tag me in the chat, I always talk about that. Hell, I mean, half the time I'm playing the Yakuza games, the discussions we're having is completely off topic from what's going on in the game. So again, stop watching Detractor content, okay? All right, ready? Reduce the wait period to chat. A 24 hours wait to chat is absurd. There's streamers that have as many trolls as you do and maybe more, and they don't do this because even they know this is an insane wait period. This is single-handedly ruining any chance you have in retaining newcomers. If the trolling is as bad as you say it is, get more moderators. You've had trust issues about giving people wrenches since the rogue mod incident. I don't know what that means because there's been more than one mod who's basically been like a catfish situation. Rogue mods happen. It shouldn't make you distrusting of people. If someone wants to help in moderation, make them a mod. Okay, so literally, here we go again. So what other streamers do is different from what you do. That automatically makes it better. Okay, what streamers are you talking about? Because you're saying people with more trolls than me. Well, who has more trolls than me? Wings of Redemption? I don't know. Who else has more trolls than me? Not many. You know, take that from the mouth of Mike Klum himself. When he was doing the research for this documentary, he said to me, my God, at first I thought that you were exaggerating, but now that I've actually done the research, you absolutely have probably the biggest troll community I've ever seen. And he's been involved with Boogie. He's been involved with other people you guys don't even know. Other documentaries he's working on and failed and he didn't do them. People who are like massive lolcow shit on the internet. And he outright admitted mine's the worst. So I don't know who you're talking about, who you think has more trolls than me. You're probably wrong. All right. But the fact is, they probably thrive on that shit. The reason they even have anyone showing up to their streams is because they don't moderate. So because of that, they don't have any content to offer. All they do is lolcow shit. So when the drama starts, that's when they profit. So let the trolls come into my chat and insult me and send super chats that are insulting me and do all this shit. You know, so I don't do that. I don't play that game. I don't. My content is valid. My content is positive. My content has meaning and merit to an audience that wants to see it. It's not the time that Phil turns on his stream, everyone just rip him a new asshole as a lolcow, and that's how he profits. So if you want to see the lolcow marathon shit, you can go watch other content creators who even are on a fucking podcast called that, and you can leave me the fuck alone. But it's hilarious. So reduce asking for support. Okay, valid suggestion. When you actually get into the meat of it, claiming that I do 10 to 30 minute segments just asking for support, as if I just stop making content to talk about it and refuse to make content until someone supports my stream. False, you watch too much Detractor content. Shorten the podcast. Just show up after the podcast is done. There's a schedule for a reason. Engage with chat more. I do. Stop watching Detractor content. Reduce the wait period to chat. Stop watching lolcows and Detractor content. So stop watching Detractors. Stop watching Detractors. Stop watching Detractors. Oh, by the way, learn how to read a schedule. Thanks for the suggestions. That was a good one, huh? If you haven't noticed yet, okay, most of the problems that people seem to have with me actually aren't problems that they have with me. It's problems that they have based on watching detractor content. Like, you watched out of context, negative, defamatory content about me that's seriously molded to do that, to insult me and make me look bad. And then you come and complain without actually having watched the real me to know that it's not valid stuff. That's a you problem, not a me problem. And I hate to say it, more and more over these years, I'm seeing really this is the problem. It's people just don't want to take 5 seconds to fucking see who the real person is or what the real content is. Instead, they just want to laugh along with the meme, and it makes you fucking stupid. I'm sorry, it does. There's just so many really frustrating people on the internet who just don't take 5 seconds to think for themselves. They just follow that sheep mentality of everyone hates this guy, so it must all be true. I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I'm certainly not saying that I'm flawless, and I'm certainly not saying that I haven't done stupid shit over the years. I have. And it's right for you to call me out on it when it happens. But when this is supposed to be the suggestion box, and literally all the stuff you just suggested is stuff that doesn't happen, I don't know what else to say. You know? Stop watching the shit that makes you feel that way. I have to blow my nose. We're going to do another suggestion, and then we'll do shout-outs. Here we go. Hold on. My nose is bothering me. Coffee.